What's up guys, Garrett here. Welcome back to Code the Web. In this video we're going to be doing similar to that video, either the last one or I don't really know which one previously it was at this point, but it was when we just kind of did like some casual spontaneous coding on Everest it was. We're going to do the similar kind of video that I did then. So this again, because this is a new series that I'm doing, I guess, it's going to be totally unscripted, so I will absolutely make mistakes and then I will do my best to fix those mistakes. And I might not do everything in the best way possible because the whole point of me doing all these projects is that I can learn how to make websites with Django that people, in some cases or in many cases, and in this case you guys, would be able to then interact with and actually use instead of just having a static website with like a cool looking front end. You know, I really would like to be able to make kind of whatever I'm dreaming about in my head. I would like to be able to make it just happen. So that's the point of this, or of me doing these projects rather. And again, I'm gonna mess up and make mistakes, and that's totally cool. Don't grill me in the comments because that's sort of the point of this is to make mistakes and learn. So previously, I think we had mostly done things with the CSS, and we kind of just maybe changed a few things here and there, but really what we did was we kind of just made it look nice. So this is what I have. That's a picture of me. This is what I have. This is the profile. I did update some things. So the profile design I think is now done. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to incorporate a follow feature into this first, um, release or deployment of this website, and that's because not so much the fact that I don't want to figure out how to do it, more so the fact that I don't really know if it's actually necessary or would serve a purpose. So this website is gonna be a social network for web designers and web developers, like I had talked about in the last video, and therefore the point is that you're sort of able to see everything that's going on. I want you to be able to see everything that's going on, everything that's posted, so you can interact with everyone that is in this web design and web development community, instead of just following people and really creating smaller communities within the website. I would like it to be one big community. Now, in the future, that could change, and perhaps we get too many users to the point where too many posts are being posted for this to make sense. And at that point, then perhaps we would need to have a follow feature, if you will. And at that point, of course, that's totally cool. We'll implement that. But until that point, I don't think it's something necessary. I just kind of have the button there because I was thinking about it, wasn't really sure, whatever. So here's what I've done, or here's what is left to do. I would really like to get like this, like a like button sort of thing. If you go to the homepage, you can see all the posts. I would really like there to be a like button down here, and then you can like it, people can like it and whatnot. Thing is, I'm really having some difficulty figuring that one out because for whatever reason, likes are sort of tricking me a little bit. But nevertheless, I'm definitely going to try to do it. I've been kind of thinking about it. I would start something, then stop something, and then try to switch it up a different way, So not totally sure there, but regardless, as it is right now, I think it is a pretty solid social network. You can post comments. There's no comments on this, but I'll show you when it does have comments. You can post comments, and this is how comments would show up right here. Oops. You can add a comment. Anyone can add a comment, and if we say this is during a video recording, we can hit add comment, and then it says this is during a video recording. That's what we just typed. And it'll say the author, the time, things like that. It's also not 2:55 a.m., so clearly the time is not working. We can delete this comment. Let's just add it again. So this was commented on during the video recording. Okay, so we can do that. You can actually, I also added, when you go to post a picture, or when you go to post a post, I also added this like picture thing. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we'll say this is a post with an image. And we'll get the image. Let's upload this this logo. This was a logo that I had made for Everest a while back. Probably not going to use it now, but what do you think? What do you think of this Everest logo? And once again, this site will be so that you can post what you're working on and get feedback on it. Not necessarily to show it, but just to get feedback on it. You can also post code, although the code isn't like formatted like it is on other sites, so that might be something that happens in the future, although you can definitely do it as it is. For example, say, what is the problem with my code? And we'll just take this. Oh, I do have a limit of 1,000 characters on here, so there's that. Let's take something that probably won't have 1,000 characters. Let's take this. Or, I don't think this is going to have 1,000 characters. There. Oh, you know what? It might, I think spaces might count. Maybe I have to up that limit then. But regardless, yeah, so this is what code will look like. Clearly, it's not formatted right because there should be a line break right here. But regardless, I guess you can, in theory, do it, right? Just won't look as great. So perhaps this is geared more towards designers right now. Definitely want to incorporate development features like the code formatting for sure in the future. Just, I guess not on the day one release, perhaps. So there's that. Also, you can edit the posts. I don't remember if that was available before, but it is now. And if you click on this post and we come down, let's see, no, there was a remove post button before, and I don't know what happened to it. This is on the detail page, so let's click on this. Let's see. Alright, so this is, I guess, the first problem. There definitely was a button here that allowed you to remove posts because I was just testing it out and I was able to remove things. And I didn't just like dream that, Let's move this over to the side. So, like I said before, I still don't know how to record two screens at once. So, unfortunately, this will live on my external monitor. And then I'll bring it over when there's something that is like worth showing. And this is the delete post thing. Yeah, I mean, this should definitely be showing up for sure. We actually want it to show up on all three of these things. So, the edit post does show up. So what is different about this? How about now? Still not showing up. Oh, it does show up, but it's on a different page. Okay, so now it does show up, and if I click on it, it does work. So as you can see, that big post with a picture of me did work, and if I go to this, there's now this button down here, and I can delete that, and it's no longer there. Problem is, I don't want it to be there for everyone. And right now, I'll show you what I just did. If I go all the way down here to this post, which is by admin, not by me, not by Garrett, and I hit on first post, I can delete it, and I don't want to be able to do that. So I need to have this if statement here, which of course isn't working. request user. It was just working. Also, this works right here. So I'm not sure, and it's the same if statement, so I'm not really sure why we're not working here. Also just found a little issue that I think with the design. Something's just not sized right, but that's, we can go over that at the end. So if request the current user and the user is authenticated, honestly, I don't need this. So if the user is authenticated, we don't need to know if the current user is authenticated. We need to know if an user is authenticated, if a user is authenticated. And then we need to say request the current user. And if they are the post author, that didn't actually do anything. So I guess there's no harm in leaving it then, since all it does is just request the current user and see if they're authenticated. Did something change in the view maybe? No. Nope. Oh, you know what though? That's interesting. Perhaps this will do something, I don't know, but interesting is that we don't need to have two if statements there because they're both saying the same thing. Although, of course, that didn't actually change anything, but regardless, they are both saying the same thing, so there's really no point in having two separate if statements. And just for formatting so we can kind of see it better. Okay, so I think based off of this, there's an issue with this page. That's the post. This is the home page. Now the other one wasn't giving us any arguments not found. Edit post. What view is this looking at? This is looking at this view right here, so we do want to keep that. This one, however, right here, we do want to specify the PK because we're asking for the PK, not just the post ID. So this is looking at this, which is looking at a delete post view, which is right here, which takes in a request, so only when it gets requested, and the PK. And this is saying, at no particular line, that the reverse for post delete post with arguments PK is not found. What if I do post ID and then here take this? That worked, which I'm actually baffled by. Local variable referenced before assignment. Okay. So I don't actually know what this error is saying. Oh. So it's saying what if we move this here? Multiple objects return. No, this was like just working 2 seconds ago. Unbound local. So this is basically where it's not being assigned, and then we're trying to access it beforehand. So we're going to go look this up. So what I do is just post this, copy and paste this, post it into Google, and just start going through what comes up, you know. I usually don't even look at the question, honestly. I usually just look at the answer. This is happening because request method that post is true, first condition passes, but the valid, it's not false. So it's talking about this bit right here. It's saying it's false. No, that's not really what I need. What am I? Local variable post, local variable input, let's see. You are assigning a string to a variable input in input now has the value. Do you want to see these? However, you are calling the built-in function input in. Consider changing the name of your variable to avoid these conflicts. Okay, so it's more of a conflict thing. I think it sounds like. So what did I have before? What if I change this to user post? User post is not defined. Oh, user post is right there. Okay, I think it works. I think maybe it was just taking a little bit of time for it to do its thing. What did I just, yeah, I think maybe it was just taking some time for it to do its thing. And I also would like to post meta. What does that do? What do we have the comments on? List. Delete post. Now we have the issue again. But this just worked. So I don't understand what the problem is. Let's try and bring this back here. That's what we had before. Alright, let's add a new post. Let's see this, alright? New post, new post to delete. Let's add a picture. We'll add that logo again. Just add some text here. Okay, there it is. Let's say delete post. Now it's gone. And I cannot edit or delete this post down here. Alright, so it would appear that it works, and I think what's making it work is this bit right here, which is the post ID, because that's what we're taking in. So we're bringing in with it. This basically means, so this URL right here, this is a little weird. This is the href attribute, and this is where you'd put your URL for where you want your link to go. And this right here is a template tag from Django that's basically allowing us to put a kind of like a dynamic almost URL. So it's static in the sense that like it'll go to one specific place. It's specified in this URLs file, but it's dynamic in the sense that we can kind of, once that's set up, we don't have to touch it. So we don't have to ever change this really, unless we want it to go to a totally new page. But we can kind of have it through these views go and do whatever we want. We can have it go to a page that does something dynamically. So it's a little bit more, I guess, power, if you will, in terms of where things can go and what things can do from there. And then this bit after these quotes, this bit is saying, okay, post.id, that is what we're going to take in. Okay, so if you look at here, we have these, this is our view for the delete post. So we're basically taking in a request. That means when the button is clicked, we're actually requesting that URL and that view, right? And then we're also going to take in a PK, and a PK means a primary key, and we're setting that up right here. So we're taking in the actual post as well as the PK of the post, and we're saying that the PK is going to be equal to the ID basically. So we're going to take in the post and then the ID of that post, and we're going to delete it. So now let's go ahead and put this in there. That actually didn't change anything, so I want some margin on the comments. What do the comments have that are giving it margin? This could be the only thing. Link. Let me check. Let's check this. Link here. I want link to have, no, I don't want link to have anything. What I do want to do is I want to add a margin, we'll call it margin left, or we'll call it left margin. And we'll say, oh, except this is going to be on the right, sorry. We'll say margin right will be 15 pixels. Now let's go and add that here somewhere, right here, to both of these actually. We'll say right margin. Let's copy and paste that. Also, just out of curiosity, I would like to see comments, post comments does have a margin right of 20 pixels. And that's actually the only thing that it has. So let's delete this because it's not doing anything else, and we're just going to add this margin right there, right margin. And that's great. So right now we've got the postings to work, the delete post, and we have the edit post to work. We're going to delete this, so it works, right? We can add a new one. What else? Oh, I want this button to be available on there as well as the individual post page. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this if statement with those two buttons inside of them. And we're going to paste it right here. And this is still not working. So maybe, maybe there's something a little bit weird going on. Maybe it just needs a little bit till you get it together. Not totally sure. And then here we also want to do that, and this is from the profile page, so let's kind of do that too. Let's get the tabs right here. And actually, no, this doesn't work at all. Let's try copying this button now, just individually. And this doesn't work at all now, so that's cool. And it's highlighting this view as the issue on line 90. It's highlighting this button right here as the issue. Let's see what's the context. So really, I don't know it's a no reverse issue. Yeah, it's a no reverse match issue. So that means that it's not, there's a something's broken in the middle. Like the flow does not work, essentially, is what that's saying. And this was for this here. So yeah, so let's see. Oh, you know what? I think this should be posts. There we go. Perfect. That works now. This should also have a right margin of that. Alright, so that now works. So now we have it here, and we can delete this. However, it brings us back to the home page, and that's because instead of the profile page, and that's because when we go to that delete view, it's going to redirect us to the home page, because that's assuming that we're already on the home page, or that we're on the detail page, which we don't have that button showing up right now, but regardless. So yeah, so that's totally fine. If we wanted to have it so it would just bring us back to the profile page instead of the index page, that's totally cool. But we would actually have to create a new view entirely, I think, and say, you know, delete from profile, or delete post from profile view, and then we'd have to have that redirect from, actually, you know what, if we could probably put an if statement there and say if current page is this, but you know, maybe in the future we can do that, because I feel like, you know, I kind of think that some of these issues are like things that would just, you know, smooth out the edges. You know what I mean? Like just polish it a little bit, not necessarily things that are like, you know, this feature needs to be there in order for it to be a functioning app that people can use. So I think maybe what I'll do is we'll release it, you know, we'll make it good so people can use it, we'll release it, and then we'll come back and say, okay, you know, okay, now let's, you know, polish it up a little bit, and that'll be a new release, and then we'll say, okay, now let's add new features. So maybe that's something that we can kind of do. I like I said in the last video, I really like the done is better than perfect process or strategy or approach. Approach is the right word. I really like the done is better than perfect approach, which is something that Facebook uses, which if you didn't watch the previous or the other video that was in this series of just the casual coding, ooh, maybe that's what I'll call it, casual coding. Casual code. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe we'll call it that. So if you didn't watch that last video, basically what I was saying is that I think Facebook is the one that pioneered the done is better than perfect. So you have companies like Apple that release things very slowly, or they have a yearly release cycle, but they take baby steps towards drastic features. So they'll implement, you know, one step in this direction, one step in that direction, and then over the course of 5 years or so, they will get to the point of like introducing features that a lot of other people have done, that a lot of other companies have already done. But the difference is, and why it's, I think, okay, is because 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, it works flawlessly. I think features that Apple implements software wise, I think you'll find that work a lot better and more intuitively and more fluidly than features that, say, Google or Facebook releases. Maybe that's not necessarily the case today, but at least historically, I think Apple is just known for releasing features that just, or releasing products and features that just work really, really fluidly and intuitively, whereas you have companies like Google and Facebook that historically have released things way faster, but they didn't always work as well as they probably should have. They worked, but maybe you have to take that extra step, whereas Apple thought things out a little bit more. So I think Facebook came up with done is better than perfect, and the idea is that it is better to have a final product released so that people can use it rather than spending a ton of time so that you can get it perfect, but then people don't get to use it, and nothing's ever perfect. So why do that? So I kind of like that. All right, so now that I've been going on that rant, let's get this detail thing working. So we're going to say, I'm really, oh, so I think I figured out why it didn't work. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I figured out why it didn't work. Here's why. So check this out. I'm actually going to go in order so that I can explain this. On this is the user post underscore list.html. And while that file name probably has no meaning to you, and it probably shouldn't, basically what I've set up this system to do is it uses that file as the index page, right? And in this file, we have a for loop right here. Now, if you're familiar with any type of programming, you know what a for loop is. A for loop is basically when you want to have something run through a set number of times. So that's when you know how many times it's going to have to run through. And that's not when we know in our heads, that's when the computer knows. So I have for post in user post list, which this user post is the name of my database or the name of my table in the database in Django. That's called a model. And then the list is just, I think that corresponds with a file or something like that. So we have for post in user post list. So now everything inside of this for loop has to refer to this model as a post, not as user post. So the reason it was giving us that issue before is because we had something funky going on with this right here in our if statement. So basically, I think before at one point I had this say user post or posts plural or something like that, and I can't do that. It has to be corresponding with whatever I'm calling this. So if I change this to posts, I have to change this to post as well as everything else in my for loop to post to be able to work. Same thing in here. Instead, this is just posts, and this actually says posts in posts, and that's probably not very good. So let's actually go through and change that right now. Here we go. And this is on here, so this should not have changed. That's perfect. So this is the same thing. We're saying for post in posts, right? And so every single one of these things has to say post because we're referring to the post, not the posts. And before I had either user post or some plural thing here as well. Now in this one, it's the opposite. Because we don't have a for loop to say, to set that precedent of saying it's for post. We're referring to it as post. We don't do that. We just kind of display the information. And the information is displayed with user post because that's the name of the model or the table in the database. So I had this set to post before, like this. I'll change it so you guys can see it. And watch this. It's not going to display. In fact, it's going to give me an error because I'm not passing in the right thing. So if I change this back to user post, I now get no error. Okay. So also one thing that I would like to do is I want to add some padding or some margin there. I don't want this to be so close to that. And I'd also like to have the meta information there, like the author and when it was posted and things like that. So I do want to do that. Yeah, let's just do that right now. Just get it out of the way. We're actually just going to go to the list and we're just going to take these things here. We're not going to take the comments, but we will take this and we will put it here. The next thing we're going to do is say that this is going to be inside of a div. I'm going to give it the class of, do I actually have something in my style for meta information? No, that's the only thing. I actually might work this around a little bit with the stuff, but we're going to say this is the meta info. And we're going to put this down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to indent all this stuff, just make it look a little bit nicer. Whoops. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to say meta info. Actually, we're going to leave that. We're just going to leave that class in case I want to do something with it, and I guess we will put it under the posts section here inside of feed because this is being handled. The feed app handles everything regarding posts. But what we're actually going to do here is we're just going to add top margin. And this is a class that I've already set up so that I can use it wherever. The thing that we just need to do is say post meta. We need to add that. Oh, that's already there. Interesting. Oh, gotcha. Again, we need user post. Can't forget that. And now that will show up. Question is, so this is what we got so far. We just added this bit right here. You know, just making it more complete. Only thing is, do I want more margins? So what I do is I have two of each margins. So I have two bottom margins, two top, I only have one right, and I don't have any left because I don't really need them right now. But I would have two of each of those. And what I do is I have top margin, and then I have more top margin. So top margin has a top margin of 15 pixels, and more top margin has a margin of 30 pixels. So I don't know if you could tell. I think I like this better. We got more top margin. So, yeah, so that is it for that page. I think now that's pretty good. We don't need anything else regarding the details page or anything like that. Let me write down what I want to do, what we have left, because now that if we're not going to add a followers feature, I mean, like, this thing is really, really close to being, like, ready to go. So if we're not going to add a followers feature, because we don't need it yet, that really takes up a huge thing that has to be done. I think because this liking feature, this like button thing is like really, you know, kind of giving me, sending me for a ride here, I think I might just release it without the like button feature and just have it so people can comment on it. If you want to like it and there's no button to like it, just comment and say that you like it, you know? Regardless, it doesn't really matter. Oh, also, I have these like boxes here for the widgets. This one right here, I haven't figured out why it's not working yet, but this one other users won't be able to see. It's only if you're logged in as me, and that's just going to show me some stats about the site. So like how many users there are, how many posts there are, maybe even how many comments there are, stuff like that. And then these two will be like, one might be ads, because this is going to cost me money to host it, so I do need to like make money somehow to do that. Also, so we're going to do that, and then we'll do maybe like links to the Facebook page or something like that. But regardless, they won't just be gray blocks that say widget 2 and widget 3. You know what I mean? I'm also going to add a blog feature or a blog page. That's actually something that I would like to do before it's launched, because I'm going to have it be up here, and it'll be like, just updates on like what's going on with the site, and you guys will be able to comment on that and say like, what you want, like features that you want there to be on the comments. If you guys are commenting here, I'm just gonna, delete it. Or like if you guys don't make a post and say like, hey, I want you to make this, because that's not what the site's for. So, that'll be deleted, but regardless. Yeah. Also, I think I need to make, I would like to be able to delete posts. So, as me, as Garrett. So I'm probably going to add that in and say that if you're, if you are the author, or if you're me, you can delete the post. I think that's pretty important. Let's see what else. So I want to make a blog page. Number 2 is you can edit it from anywhere. I think you can edit it from your profile, and you can also delete it from your profile. You can see all of the members. Those are here. So I think that's maybe it. There is one thing that I have to do actually, and I will show you right now. And I'm actually going to write it down, even though I'm just going to cross it off immediately after. But that is make it so people can upload profile pictures. Oh, I also need to fix this, because this doesn't look how it's supposed to look at all. These things here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into up here, and then we're going to go to the register template, or the sign up template rather, and I need to add something in here. I need to add this line of code. No, it's not that. What is it? It was in feed. Oh, you know what? No, I don't need this. I don't need this one. I need this one, and this one, and I need to add this right here. And I need to add this to here. Nope, not that. Alright, now let's test this out. Are you sure you want to sign out? Yes. Sign in. Alright, something got messed up there, I think. in the login thing. Yeah, because that did not look like that before. Although, let me sign in real quick and then admin. Okay, perfect. So this did work. How much time are we at right here? 46 minutes, great. So this did work. What I had an issue with before was that if you come here, this thing right here to change an image or to upload an image wasn't working, and so I had to fix that on the user profile, or not the user profile, the new post form, and then I got that to work, but I didn't change it for the uploading a profile picture, but we just got that to work, so that's taken care of. One thing now that I want to tackle is why. I mean, this form looks a little bit messed up too, but why don't those forms look like they should? That's a little annoying. So let's check this out right here. This did work before, I just can't remember. I'm actually really exhausted right now. I've been up since like 8 o'clock and it's now almost 12, so I'm pretty tired. Why could this be an issue? Oh, also, you know what else isn't working? This is unrelated, but this developer thing right here, so you can say user type, and I would like to change that to say I am a developer, designer, or maybe I'll change this to say designer and developer, but regardless, if you hit save, it says designer, right? But it's set to developer. So clearly that's not really working. But regardless, so let me actually write that down. We'll say, okay, so there's that. Let's think. What could be messing that up for us? So this is taking care of just centering things. Okay. You know what? Didn't I delete that? I think I deleted something that was setting things up as widgets, but the question is, why would some things show up and not others? Let's not do the sign up form yet. It's a little bit more complicated because I didn't make that. That was actually a third-party app for Django that I downloaded, and that is like a lot of developers use to make the authentication of people and their projects work better. Let's tackle this though. So this is for users. Let's go to forms. I really think that I had. Pretty sure I had things set up here as widgets before. Let's go in here. Yeah, I had this set up and now it's not. So let's delete that. Let's go to here. And this is the user profile form. That's the user form, which I don't, I think I do need or don't need. We're going to figure that one out later, actually, when we go to clean everything up. This is inside class meta. Whoops. All right, widget. So going to take everything here, and we're basically just going to go through all this stuff, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're also going to add the image. I think I just called it image feed. Models, pro pic. This is below the join date, so which is below first name. Oh, I already have that in there. Whoops. And also we're gonna put that in there. Yeah. So let's switch these. So I need one. Wait, which ones aren't working? The website's not working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. By the way, this is what I have right now, what I'm talking about, how like this website right here does not match this. How nicely that looks, you know what I mean? So I think I said 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's add the location, the title, user type, website, Twitter, which I don't even have or use myself, and then GitHub at the end. Okay. So about, which is not listed there. Hold on a minute. Let's X all these out. We're getting a little crowded here. Let's get this one open again. Inside of templates, let's get, this is for the user edit profile, so we'll do that, and we'll also do this. And I also want to see the view. I think I actually don't need either of these two views anymore. We just haven't deleted them yet because I'm not ready. I'm gonna like go through all this stuff and clean things up like this. I'm not using right now, so we're gonna go through and clean everything up. But until that happens, we're just gonna leave it as such. Edit profile view and create. Where's create? There isn't a create because we're just registering. Okay. So edit profile view. We're gonna take this and we're gonna copy these, place it here. And let's see what we got. That actually removed the about. So we had this that I didn't add. Would like user type to be above about. And we're still getting that issue with the website, so I'm kind of curious actually, like what is going on over here with the website. Oh, you know what? This is a URL field. URL field. Let's see. No, I didn't type that in right. Django form widgets. I have to see what the what the field is called. Oh, URL input. It's not field, it's input. I'm an idiot. Why does this work? What's the issue here? Forms field. All right, what's going on here? It was working like 2 seconds ago. Let's clear all this out. We'll just try to restart the server. Okay, it's running now, so I don't really know what the issue was before. Now let's do this again. We'll say URL input. And we don't have any errors, but it is not working. Because we still have this like so. Curious, does this work? I'll actually bring this over to show you guys. Is this getting the right thing? It looks like it's not. So on all these other ones, we're able to see that Twitter should be getting that class, but here we're not. I don't care about that. Like, for example, this first name, which is right here. We're not getting that. We should have a class being put there, and it's not. So I'm actually not sure how the CSS is affecting it successfully, which is a little interesting. Whoops, nope, don't want to do that. I want to search for ID. That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm really not sure about that one. I really don't have a clue. Alright, so I guess we'll have to hold off on that because I like legitimately don't have a clue. That's really, really weird. And that was on the profile edit. Also, why is the footer coming up there? Edit form. That's really weird. So this footer comes up here, right, on this page, but not on any of my other pages, and I don't have a footer in here at all. I did at one point, and I took it away. I wonder if there's like a cache that you can purge or something. But I don't have a cache set up to the best of my knowledge. Really not sure about that one. Alright, well, I've now been recording for an hour. Just over. So, same as in the last video. Can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to, show everything and record everything. There was some stuff that I did since making the last video, which was on the same topic and of the same style, that obviously was not showed. I'm trying to show everything I can, but it's it's just not, it doesn't really make sense in some cases because it does slow you down to have to record and explain, try to explain at least what you're doing. And so for that reason, I can't really do it. Also, I live with other people, so if those people are here, it's a little difficult to be recording and talking to a computer. Other than that, I'm going to do my best to show everything, and stay tuned for in the coming, I don't know, week or so maybe. I might like make a video debuting this and saying to join it, and if I do, then you should definitely join it and start using it and post what you're working on so that we can all kind of see and help each other out and just form connections and whatnot. And I think this can really be something amazing. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.